The ring of a telephone signals connection, but for those living alone, it brings an invisible vulnerability. You must never ignore scam calls as a minor nuisance. They represent a calculated attack on your savings and your ability to live without assistance. The caller on the other end relies on isolation. They weaponize silence and time. Every answered call provides them data. Your voice confirms an active line. Hesitation signals an opportunity for exploitation. Financial security vanishes in minutes. The patterns remain predictable. A voice claims a compromised bank account. A government agency demands payment. The goal is disorientation. Scammers understand the psychology of an empty house. They create artificial emergencies. Panic overrides logic. Isolation prevents a second opinion. Many assume caller identification offers protection. This reliance creates a false sense of security. Numbers are simple to spoof. Familiar area codes hide international operations. Your landline or smartphone becomes a gateway. The physical barrier of your front door means nothing. Threats bypass locks and alarms. They arrive inside your living room. We must shift the defense strategy. Accepting every incoming call surrenders control. You need a perimeter for your communication. This requires systemic changes in daily habits. Let us examine the mechanics of the deception. The caller uses urgent language. They demand secrecy. They instruct you not to contact family. This isolation tactic works through compliance. The moment you follow a small instruction, the trap closes. Compliance builds momentum. It breaks down rational defenses. Have you noticed an increase in calls claiming a package delivery failure or a utility shutoff at your home? The defense requires a structural shift. I call this the verified caller shield. It changes how your home network processes incoming signals. It removes the burden of decision-making. The verified caller shield operates on a simple premise. Unknown numbers do not ring. They face a digital barrier. Only approved contacts penetrate the perimeter. Notice the risk. Implementing this shield involves specific hardware integration. Consider the role of a smart home display. Devices equipped with advanced call screening change the landscape. They analyze incoming data. A modern smart display acts as a gatekeeper. It intercepts the call. The system asks the caller to state their purpose. You read a transcript before engaging. This separation creates time. Time destroys the artificial urgency of the scammer. You evaluate the claim in silence. The threat loses its power. There is a specific smart home device designed for this perimeter defense. It blocks known malicious numbers without human input. It uses a growing database of threat patterns. I placed a link to this tool in the description. Using this technology restores peace. The telephone returns to a tool of connection. It ceases to be a source of anxiety. Your living space remains a sanctuary. Let us delve into the nature of these attacks. We observe a shift toward voice cloning. Artificial intelligence replicates the voice of a loved one. The caller fabricates a distress scenario. A grandchild in trouble. A nephew stranded with no money. The emotional impact overrides suspicion. The demand for funds follows in seconds. The verified caller shield neutralizes this tactic. It relies on a secondary verification protocol. You establish a safe word with your family. A unique phrase verifies their identity. When the panicked voice calls, you demand the phrase. Silence reveals the deception. The artificial intelligence cannot guess the code. The emotional manipulation fails. Another layer of the threat involves health services. Scammers target medical vulnerabilities. They offer fake medical devices or genetic testing. They request your Medicare information. This data fuels identity theft. The fallout affects your credit and your medical records. The recovery process demands exhaustive effort. It drains energy meant for living. You must never ignore scam calls in your planning. Treat them as structural hazards. They require the same preparation as a loose rug. Prevention preserves autonomy. This changes safety. We must address the silent toll of chronic vigilance. Constant anticipation of threats creates fatigue. It diminishes the comfort of your home. Your environment should foster rest, not tension. Automating your defense relieves this cognitive load. The smart screening device handles the friction. Your mind remains clear. You focus on productive daily routines. Let us analyze the behavior of hanging up. Many struggle to end a call without warning. Social conditioning demands politeness. Scammers exploit this courtesy. The verified caller shield removes the human element. The machine denies access. There is no need for apologies. There is no awkward termination. You reclaim ownership of your time. The phone rings only for value. Friends and family reach you without barriers. The outside world conforms to your rules. Consider the integration of visual alerts. Smart lighting syncs with approved callers. The living room lamp pulses blue for family. It remains dark for unrecognized numbers. This visual cue bypasses the jarring noise of a standard ring. It creates a calm environment. You know the nature of the call before checking a screen. Information arrives without sound. This approach benefits those with mild hearing loss. The visual environment communicates status. Safety integrates into the aesthetics of the room. Technology adapts to your physical needs. We must also examine the concept of data minimalism. Scammers build profiles based on fragments of information. A warranty registration or a sweepstakes entry provides a foundation. They use this data to build trust. The caller recites your address or your past purchases. This familiarity lowers your guard. You assume legitimacy based on accurate details. This assumption leads to compromise. Notice the pattern. Protecting your independence requires data discipline. Limit the information you share in public domains. Use generic names for online accounts. Reduce the raw material available to attackers. Let us return to the technology perspective. Routine software updates form a critical defense layer. Smartphones and caller identification tools require current data. Threat patterns evolve with speed. An outdated device loses its defensive capability. The software fails to recognize new attack vectors. Make updates an automatic process. Your systems must learn while you sleep. We observe a specific vulnerability during transitional periods. Moving to a new home or returning from a hospital stay creates chaos. Routines shatter. Focus shifts to immediate physical needs. Scammers track these transitions. They pose as utility providers or billing departments. They capitalize on the confusion of the moment. The urgency of the situation masks the deception. The verified caller shield maintains stability during these times. It provides a constant defensive posture. When your attention wavers, the system remains vigilant. It guards the perimeter. Let us discuss the protocol for a breached perimeter. Suppose an attacker bypasses the filters. You answer the call. The deception begins. The first rule of engagement is termination. You end the connection with zero explanation. You do not engage in debate. You do not attempt to outsmart the caller. Engagement provides them with audio data. It marks your number as an active target. It invites subsequent attempts. Termination severs the attack vector. Following termination, you initiate a reset. You block the number through your smart device. You report the interaction to the screening database. You fortify the wall. This action protects the broader community. The shared database learns from your input. It shields the next potential victim. Your vigilance contributes to collective safety. Protect the system. Many individuals experience shame after a close call. They internalize the deception as a personal failure. This shame breeds silence. Silence benefits the attacker. We must view these interactions with clinical detachment. The scammer operates a sophisticated business model. They use optimized scripts and psychological triggers. Falling prey to these tactics is not a reflection of intelligence. It is a reflection of a systemic vulnerability. You address a vulnerability with a structural upgrade. You remove the emotion from the equation. You implement the necessary technology. Let us explore the role of secondary contacts. Modern smart devices allow trusted individuals to monitor the alert log. A family member views the blocked call list. They observe patterns of targeting. This oversight happens without intrusive monitoring of your daily life. They do not listen to your conversations. They monitor the perimeter defense. They provide an external layer of security. This arrangement balances independence with support. You retain autonomy over your communications. A trusted ally watches the gates. Peace of mind extends to your loved ones. We must address the evolution of text-based threats. The phone scam extends beyond voice communication. It arrives as a message regarding a suspended account. It includes a malicious link. The verified caller shield methodology applies here. You do not click unknown links. You do not reply to unverified messages. You treat unexpected texts as hostile incoming data. If a message claims a banking error, you ignore the link. You open a separate browser. You navigate to the verified banking portal. You check the status with your own tools. This action severs the connection to the attacker. You rely on established, safe pathways. You eliminate the risk of a compromised interface. Your assets remain secure. Consider the physical placement of your communication devices. A central location forces you to move to answer. This movement interrupts the current task. It breaks concentration. Using voice-activated smart speakers distributes communication. You answer from your chair or the kitchen. You maintain your physical posture. The interaction requires less physical effort. This convenience must pair with strict screening. The voice assistant must announce the caller identity. A call from an unknown number triggers a rejection command. Declining the call becomes a standard vocal routine. Your voice becomes the control mechanism. The technology obeys your directives. You shape the digital environment. You enforce the boundaries of your sanctuary. Defend your space. We recognize the resistance to new technology. The setup process appears daunting. The terminology feels alien. The fear of breaking the system causes hesitation. The devices mentioned in the description prioritize simplicity. They require a single configuration step. They operate in the background without noise. They demand zero ongoing maintenance. The initial investment of time yields a compounding return. Hours of anxiety transform into moments of peace. The environment shifts from defensive to relaxed. You reclaim the mental space needed for living. Let us review the core components of the strategy. First, the recognition of the threat as a structural hazard. Second, the implementation of the verified caller shield. Third, the reliance on automated gatekeepers. Fourth, the discipline of data minimalism. Fifth, the establishment of a family-safe word. Sixth, the clinical termination of breach calls. These elements form a comprehensive defense architecture. This architecture supports long-term independence. It prevents the financial devastation that forces relocation. It preserves the emotional stability required for autonomous living. It empowers you to remain in your home. The true value of smart technology lies in its invisibility. It does not demand constant attention. It handles the friction of modern threats. It allows you to focus on the elements of life that matter. A quiet afternoon remains quiet. A conversation with a friend occurs without interruption. The phone ceases to be a weapon of disruption. It serves its original purpose of connection. To achieve this state, action is required. You must commit to altering your current communication protocols. You must accept the necessity of a digital barrier. You must value your security over the politeness of answering. We must remember that your time and attention are finite resources. Scammers attempt to steal these resources. They drain your energy and your financial reserves. You have the authority to deny them access. Comment the word shield below. By writing this word, you acknowledge the necessity of a perimeter defense. You commit to prioritizing your safety. Subscribe to this channel to build an architecture of protection around your independent living, your cognitive focus, and your long-term autonomy. You must never ignore scam calls when building this fortress. They are the ultimate test of your perimeter. Pass the test with silence. Live with unwavering clarity. This material is for educational and strategic purposes. It does not constitute medical or financial advice. Consult qualified professionals before altering your structural routines.